thought I'd make a video for my mother, Marco. I don't ever make videos for Marco, but you know, he's 20 years old, something in his 20s now. See, I was 18 and he was like a year old. I think he was born. So I'm 18 years older than him. So yeah, he would be, I'm turning January 6, 41, which would make him 22 years old or 23. Yeah, he'd be like 22 to 23 years old. Age I had my transplant in. And him and his twin, who I've never met but once. But I wanted to make this video because I don't know if he watches. I don't know how much they let him participate in any of fixing my mother and protecting her. I just know that all the gays are gathering up together and turning on me, and they're playing the Ku Klux Klan white supremacy shit as well. Just because people are gay doesn't mean they're racist. They're the same exact like any straight person that would be in any racist Ku Klux Klan. There's no difference at all. I always thought that there was, because they always claim the rainbow, gay community flag and their struggles of being gay, which is a bunch of bullshit. But I wanted to make this video because I don't know what's going on when it goes to a lot of the details. The psychologist, and I think it's these Army veterans, not veterans, but I think it's these Army soldiers that are doing this in the background, and I'm not being known what's happening because it's not just them shooting the electronic devices, but it's them organizing to what they see or what they want to have happen. I don't know if it could be any people from any other countries that are professional psychologists and wanting to be caring and loving that are not of the Christianity belief. I don't know how much of any of that gets to participate in. My assumptions is if they ever let any of those people from the Middle East or any other country that's not of Christianity belief, then they're going to give them the small amounts of bullshit crumbs of any empathy to allow to participate, because it's a political movement for the president and scavenge for the dead remains of my sister and whoever's dead for the profitable gain for Kenneth Cooper at the radio station and his family. It is horrific as you can imagine, but I don't know what's going on in a lot of circumstances. I'm gradually finding out what happened in the last 20 years that I didn't know, or last 17 years. 17 to 18 years I didn't know my mother was an identical twin, and neither did Julian or Marco. That's 17 fucking years. What happens in 17 fucking years, But I wanted to talk about, because this is about Katy Perry. I don't have, there was, if that was her, I think it could have been her. I still don't know, but I just know that if it was her, there were all rich white people. I never had conflict with Katy Perry. I was in her class. I talked to Andy Hoppan. There was always a lot of racial tension. And I remember being 18 years old. I was about 18 years old when a bunch of them on that side showed up at Daniel's house for like a barbecue. And there was Sean Cashman, Chris Kemp's sister, or transgender sister, and like a few other ones. And the way that they behaved around Daniel and me, and anytime they saw me, I was considered like the scum Mexican. Every fucking time. It didn't matter what I had to say. It didn't matter anything. They were all there. It was very prejudiced. It was all, them. And Daniel seemed to have been scolded a few times, like he had to participate or go along with it. But it was so weird to him, even when I would look at him, because you could tell that it was just like, he was kind of having me forced to. It was weird because these people barely even knew him or would never contact him, and they were like, "Oh, we're white. Remember, we're white." And the reason I say this is because we were all outside, and I had this one Ricky's ex-girlfriend who he had a flip phone of her masturbating and oiled all up. and he videotaped it. And Ricky said he slept with her, whatever. She was racist as shit. One day I was over, I don't know, Chris Martinez, Joni saw this, Chris Dodson, Daniel Box, and a few other people. And out of nowhere, this white girl who, she knew who Aaron Ramsey was. I don't know where they met her. She was a straight girl. She was pretty. And they knew her from, like, Ricky dated her, and she started saying racial prejudice shit to me for no reason. And I don't know if she was drinking, and I think she could have. And I remember just Joni, and I remember Chris Martinez, and she was like, "You're a Mexican spick. You're from fucking Mexico. Back to Mexico, you Mexican piece of shit. You're a spick." And she kept on saying all this racial shit toward me. I was always polite, never said anything. And all I said was, "Fuck you," you know. And we were outside, like right in front of Joe's house. And she was sitting on the curb, and I don't know, I was thinking that maybe she had some mental problems. They just hit the door again in this area, and they shoot it into my chest. So every time I complain, this Ken Cooper's representative downstairs keeps doing this to me. He's wanting to really fight for the claim of my sister's dead body. It's being very calculated about what's really kind of going on, but I wanted to make a video that this is how they're torturing me, want to control me with their spiritual religious beliefs. So what happens is she starts, and there they go again, they keep shutting the door, and they're using a vibrator machine that shoots vibrations toward my physical body in the center of my chest to control me emotionally, and where the human heart is supposed to go, what you believe in, what God I believe in. And this is the way that they're doing it. But I wanted to make this video, if I'm allowed to speak, because they're listening to me right now, and they're just waiting to slam the door again or hit the walls. And every time they do, it's an electronic device that shoots into my body. But I wanted to make this video because my mother needs to know this information, and probably so does Marco, just in case there is something that I don't know that goes on the white side. This is where I saw Ginger, Nathan, living in a house one day it used to be called Newport, a street called Newport, where Osceola ends, but it's not called Newport anymore. It's called something else, but it's the second house in the corner, and I showed it on videotape. Well, when I was 18 years old, there was all these white boys that showed up, and there they go, they hit the door again. So what they're doing is they don't want me talking. This is why Frankie was being raped. This is why my mother was being raped. Because they do this behavior to know how to keep quiet. A little child is being fucked the shit out of in his asshole, and this guy downstairs and these other people shoot me with electronic devices, and I could be sharing these videos to tell to whoever the professional psychologist is to do whatever you need to do to go after Kenneth, scold his fucking piece of shit ass and his and his fucking faggots, because it was 100% gay movement against me, and nobody knows about this. The less I talk about this, the more you're never gonna know, and it gives the trophies and rewards to that fucking faggot and his transgender movements. But I need to make these videos, and I try. There's God knows how many other videos I could have made that I'm not able to tell you because they beat me with the electronic devices, keeping me preoccupied with other things, changing my story to tell you, not be able to tell you what happened, you know, and I lose track of what I was talking, and they try to get me to sabotage myself, and that's all they're fucking doing. That is all they're fucking doing. You would have never, if I went to prison because I snapped, or the police officers were trying to frame me, you would have never heard 10 homosexuals been raped, Frankie, they got raped, and he already had that stroke, and he's in a nursing home. Because Ken Cooper's supporters downstairs is the one that's slamming the fucking doors and shooting me with the electronic devices. And he's playing along with it. So, like I said, I'm trying to make these videos to help my mother, because I don't have any possessions and control power of attorney of anything she has or does. She doesn't have to call me. She doesn't have to communicate with me. And she's doing exactly as they say, like a dog. And the nastiest fucking shit you can imagine. And she has no fucking idea. My mother has a first grade education. Her twin does, isn't very smart, and does not fucking understand what the fuck these people are doing. They just know they're putting money on her table and in her fucking mouth. And that's her sister, which is my mother. So when I try to make these videos, I make it in desperation to try to help. But this is why I'm not able to tell you. That is exactly why. Because the more information you find out about something and how much money you're spending and how much you're doing this, the less you're ever going to be able to help my mother. And you got her just like the worthless bitch that she is for this guy downstairs and this transgender that is across the hall. That's all she is a worthless bitch. That's exactly why. They do it through actions. They're the ones that can tell you the story about my mother or Frankie being anally raped or my mom having a butcher knife to her throat. But the more information you hear and you can verify it, it's people like that. They don't care. This guy's 70 years old. He probably doesn't have more, maybe 10 years of life left to live. This transgender piece of shit, it looks like I has a dick in their fucking ass, just walking around, just stalking me, hitting the fucking walls. I mean, it's nonstop. Nobody's able to make an observation how bad in detail they're turning my dead sister against me, and very graphic details with that intention to have it benefit for the whites and Ken Cooper's family. Remember, they want to direct everything toward Ken Cooper, which it was those two people, Sarah Cooper, but it was Kenneth that did everything. The threats, the engagement, the information, the stalking, the manipulation, it was Kenneth at the radio station. Because they know they can direct it to a pig. A pig likes shit. A pig, you can throw in there, you throw more feces in there, he loves it. He loves it. It doesn't bother him. He loves this shit. So does Sarah Cooper. So I try to make these videos, and there's no telling how much information I could have told you. And that is why. That is exactly why. Marco told me some information, and they're beating me with electronic devices when it's to come with my dead sister. Now, they sent a package to my mother that I did not mail to her, and they're manipulating her dead body. And I still have yet to call my mother that it was this piece of shit that are doing this intentionally, and they're using my sister's dead energy, spirit, and soul to concentrate it and throw it on a garbage can to this crucifix, to their version of it, because I'm the only representation of that little girl. She is my blood sister, not this piece of shit downstairs that's hitting the fucking crucifix and underneath the wall and vibrating and shooting me with these electronic devices. And that's all they're fucking doing. He's focused on targeting the dead little girl, and spiritually and mentally and focused to shit it all over to the crucifix to benefit him, the church, and the white supremacists, and the primarily faggots. That's all it is. These are homosexuals. They're just faggots. They have their own faggot crew, and they're all gay. That's all they're fucking doing. They don't give a fuck about that worthless dead little girl, and that's how he demonstrates himself and behaves around me, and shooting the electronic devices and opening and closing the door. I need to make this video. I need to make a video, see if I'll be able to continue my conversation about what Marco told me and my mother.